Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're out there in our audience. We bring together the regular meeting of the Weyburn City Council held here at the Council Chambers at Weyburn City Hall at 6 p.m. Monday, August 14th, 2017. We welcome all that have joined us here in our live audience out here to get away for the night on there. So, approve. Anyway, we have first thing on agenda, we have the approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting held for July 24th.
I'll move those minutes, Your Worship.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. Discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Are there any additions to the agenda? The one thing that I'm going to enter into a notice of motion, so there'll be a notice of motion added. When we come to that notice of motion, I'll add that in this evening.
Your Worship, I'll make it a motion to add those items to the agenda.
Seconder?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Yeah. All in favor? Carried. There are no public hearings and notices. There's no original communications, delegations, and petitions. The first thing we have on our notice, on our business here, we have the report to council. The water treatment plant report. Councillor Bailey, you shall deliver it.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. This report comes from our water treatment manager, Shabir, updated to council for July of 2017. Under the testing, all bacteriological samples that were taken were showing negative results. The monthly report was submitted to the Environmental Protection Officer for their review and files in accordance with the requirements of our operating permit. Quarterly samples of THMs and HAAs, general chemical and organic, was sent to the lab. New EPOs, which is Environmental Protection Officer Don Turner, appointed by the Weyburn Water Security Agency. Don Turner, EPO, and two other senior managers from Weyburn Security Agency inspected the plant, water plant, and 2-year data on the July 27th report is not received as yet. EPO and two senior managers informed me that Shavir, that the Water Security Agency already having deadlines to meet the THMs and the HAA's parameters by 2020, as the city never has been in compliant with these two parameters, though there is conditions reductions of 30 to 40% in the 5 years of the THMs and the HAAs. Our community has the lowest THMs as compared to the same size of other communities. Reduction of the THMs and AHAs could be possible after a new UV system on First Avenue upgraded. We'll be using less chemical, or less chlorine, I should say, which is the main cause of the elevated of these parameters. GAC, which is granular activated carbons, pressurized vessels are another option to reduce those THMs and HA parameters. Those are hard to say, Your Worship.
You're doing good.
Yeah. Due to warmer temperatures and lack of rain, algae growth has been increased significantly, and adjusted chemicals to remove the efficiency of the organic compounds. Under maintenance, general maintenance is ongoing, and other new compressor has been installed. In operations, water demand was very high during the month of July. A few days were very critical. Total raw water drawn from the lake from the month of July was 210 million liters, 22 million liters more than the month of June. The level of Nickel Lake dropped 24 centimeters in July, 6 centimeters more than in June. The current level from overflow level is 46 centimeters, and hopefully they are also Shabir is also hoping that our rain will come soon. So that is my report, Your Worship.
Very good. Our Fire Department report, Councilor Richards.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm proud to bring the Fire Department report from Fire Chief Almond for the month of July. And here we go. There were a total of 19 calls for service in the month of July, 10 automatic fire alarm activations comprised of the following property classifications: 3 multi-residential occupancies, 2 residential occupancies, 3 commercial occupancies, and 2 institutional occupancies. Also 2 structural fires, 1 burning complaint, 1 garbage in an open fire, and 1 carbon monoxide alarm. Total calls located in the city of Weyburn then were 15. Rural calls as follows: 1 Baylor and a field fire, 2 motor vehicle accidents, and 1 motor vehicle collision. Total calls in the rural area were 4, and those calls were located in the RM of Weyburn and the RM of Broken Shell. In terms of fire prevention and education, Your Worship, 87 property inspections or follow-up inspections were conducted in the month of July, 13 fire hall tours conducted, and 6 fire drills conducted. 2 occupancy load calculations or certifications were completed, and of course the Canada Day fireworks and demolition derby were attended by our fire department, and they did a great job. Training and professional development as follows: 4 training sessions held for the paid on-call firefighters for a total training time of 100 hours. Career staff training hours for the month were 40. Training topics again included extrication operations, driver training, aerial operations, search and rescue, and automatic external defibrillation. A few miscellaneous notes: 11 notifications of rural burning were received and forwarded. These are broken down into rural areas as follows: the RM of Wellington the RM of Weyburn accounted for 10, and the RM of Wellington accounted for 1. Battery recycling continues, and a total of 600 batteries were collected and sent away to Retrieve Technologies for recycling. 3 large breathing cylinders were filled on a contract basis for oil field safety service operators, and 6 small air cylinders filled for other users. And as a result of career staff vacation entitlement, our fire hall unfortunately was unmanned for a total of 96 hours. And that is my report, Your Worship.
Thank you. Questions? Building Department report, Councilor Bambechu.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is the Planning, Development, and Building report for July 2017. During the month of July 2017, the City of Weyburn issued 6 building permits with a total construction value of $622,000. The permits were as follows: 1 permit issued for commercial addition alterations with a construction value of $90,000. 1 permit issued for a multifamily major exterior upgrade with a construction value of $350,000. 1 permit issued for residential deck with a construction value of $3,000. 3 permits issued for residential garage house addition with a construction value of $179,000. Year to date, we have issued 48 building permits with a total construction value of just over $4.1 million. In July 2016, year to date, the city had issued 48 building permits with a total construction value of just over $4 million. Development permits. In July 2017, we have issued 2 development permits, which included a new RTM dwelling and temporary fabric-covered residential garage. 1 home occupation was reviewed and issued in July 2017 for a small home office, and 5 zoning requests were received, reviewed, and issued in July 2017. This report was put together by licensed building official Amanda Kaufman.
Questions? We'll mark those as received and filed. Consent agenda, cash activity report for June 2017.
Your Worship, I'll move that the consent agenda item, cash activity report for June 2017, be accepted as presented.
Seconder?
I'll second, Your Worship.
Discussion? All in favor? So carried. Accounts payable, motions, accounts payable.
Your Worship, I'd make a motion that the purchases in the amount of $1,514,570.47 from July 20th to August 10th, 2017 be passed for payment.
Second?
I'll second that one too, Your Worship.
All in favor? Carried unanimously. Our next one is the appointment of the city manager, who, unfortunately, due to personal commitments, was not able to attend tonight, although this is his first day of work. He had personal commitments here tonight that alleviated him from not being in attendance. We will be meeting, watch for on the media tomorrow. There'll be different announcements and introductions and meeting him tomorrow. But for now, the appointment.
Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that Roy Hardy be and is hereby appointed as city manager for the City of Weyburn as per Section 84 of the Cities Act, with duties and responsibilities as defined in the City Administration Bylaw number 2003-2093.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Roy Hardy is now our new city administrator, coming in from Humboldt. The reservoir expansion contract number 2, part 2. Who wishes to speak to this? Mr. Williams.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just for your information, the city received 4 tenders for the new water reservoir project. They were very good tenders to very good firms. The 4 firms were Westridge Construction, PCL Construction, Graham Construction, and Ledcor Construction. And the 4 bids were relatively close. They ranged from a low of $10.7 million for Westridge to a high of $11.9 million for PCL Construction. So for a job this size, that was a good competitive bid. And we're pretty excited because this is probably about $2 million lower than the original cost estimate from our consultant at ECOM. So as far as recommendation, we recommend that we award the water treatment plant storage reservoir to Westridge Construction for the amount of $10,763,240. Are there any questions from council?
Just one, Your Worship. Does that include our taxes that we always have to look, GST and PSD?
Taxes aren't included in the bid, so they'd be added onto the project. So just for your information, Councillor Bailey, contract 1 on this project was roughly $1 million. This one here is $10.7 million. There's electrical work that's yet to follow. That's between $1 to $1.5 million. And then there's the inspections and tendering and hiring our consultant. We'll say that'll be around $1 million. So we're a total of $14.2 million. We have budgeted $15.9 million from reserves, or 5.9 from reserves or whatever, and 10.1 from the federal and provincial government. So we're roughly about $2 million under the original budget for this project. So we do have a bit of money to cover the provincial taxes, but we should complain to the provincial government that they give us one hand to take on the other. So anyway, that's for a different argument.
Mr. Van Bitche?
Yes, Mr. Williams, I was just wondering if you have a tentative start and completion date.
Yeah, if we get a word tonight, I think Westridge would likely start within a couple of weeks, and then we're projecting to be done by next spring. It'd be about a year, just over a year, or just under a year to finish. So,
thank you.
Mr. Chester?
Tom, will this affect our citizens at all, per se, whether it's driving by the location or any water issues?
That work was done under contract 1, so I don't anticipate any water shutdowns or things like that. It might be a day when they open it up, but there's the existing reservoir. This is adding capacity to the city to meet your provincial guidelines to have two average day storage. So I don't anticipate any shutdown, Councillor Chesto.
Along with the start date within 2 weeks' time to start doing this, is this going to fall simultaneously with the start of the water meter? When does the water meter? Well,
the water meter is actually already started. We're meeting with them on Wednesday, just to start our meeting to get going on that. City staff have already been investigating for the lead services, so we've got that analysis almost done. There's just a few houses to check. So this will be going on at the same time as the water meter replacement program. But that should be started probably next week, like actual work.
Of the water meter program.
Water replacement, yeah.
And then actual work starting in the other project within about 2 to 3 weeks?
Yes, Your Worship.
There. Very good. It's good to see that things are moving ahead. The other discussion, Mr.
I'd just like to make the motion, if that's all right now. I'd like to make the motion that the tender of Westridge Construction Limited to provide the water treatment plant storage reservoir expansion contract 2 in the amount of $10,763,240 be accepted.
Second?
I'll second that motion, Your Worship.
Any further discussion before we call to question?
Just construction, I'm familiar with these other 3 contractors and a little bit with Westridge, but do they have a history of this type of work that you're
Yes, they
happy
do,
with
Councillor
them?
Bailey. We actually had our consultant check references.
Yeah.
So this Westridge came highly recommended from their references, and I have worked personally with them on a number of reservoirs, so
Great.
they're
So
one of those
this
firms
isn't-
that I feel
This
comfortable
isn't their
with.
first one then?
This isn't their first one. no.
Very good, thank you.
Any further questions? Call to question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Very good. The Terry Fox Run is the next order of business.
Your Worship, a letter was received from the Terry Fox Run Committee members. It states the 2017 Weyburn Terry Fox Run Committee is writing to inform you of an upcoming event that will take place in the city of Weyburn. The 37th annual Terry Fox Run is slated for September 17th, 2017 in River Park. The event begins with registration at 12 p.m. and the run will follow at 1 p.m. Participants will have the option to run or walk a 3-kilometer, 6-kilometer, or 10-kilometer route, with all pledges and funds raised going directly to the Terry Fox Foundation. River Park has been the event location for many years, and we'd like to request the use of the park again this year. Also, we request the use of the River Park gazebo to accommodate registration and post-run activities. During the registration and run period, there will also be significant pedestrian traffic in River Park. The committee requests that the exterior paved access loop of the perimeter of River Park Campground be blocked to motorized vehicles for the duration of the Terry Fox Run. This short blockage is consistent with the restriction to vehicles that have been implemented in past years for the run. We've also checked with city staff, and our parks coordinator is on board with this, says that the gazebo is not currently booked, so that would be available to them. So we have no issues with it.
Very good.
Your Worship, I'll make a motion that the request for the 2017 Weyburn Terry Fox Run Committee to hold this 37th annual Terry Fox Run at River Park beginning at 12 p.m. on September 17th, 2017, and further the use of the campground office, the River Park gazebo, and the paved access loop on the perimeter of River Park Campground be blocked to motorized vehicles for the duration of the Terry Fox Run be approved.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Any discussion? No discussion, Council? With that, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. The audited financial statements and public accounts.
So we've received our audited financial statements from MMP LLP, and overall, the net financial assets, they've increased by 3.5 million, and I guess what everyone is always asking about the hospital levy, we've currently collected 3.2 of the 6 million that we owe to the hospital foundation, so that is sitting as a liability on our financials. And overall revenues, they increased 3.5, and the financials will be available on the website, and they can be purchased at City Hall for $25, but you can get them off the website for free.
With that, Your Worship, I'd like to move that the 2016 audit financial statement and the 2016 public accounts be accepted as presented.
Second?
Your Worship, I'll second that.
Discussion? There's no discussion here on the audited reports? Go ahead.
Will the public accounts, the current public accounts, be on the website also?
We don't typically put them on the website, but if you request them, we will give them to you, yes.
Any further questions? Because that's a good question there, because I was asked, a couple of people have asked about when this order was coming out. And is this usually this late in getting it here this year? Because the one statement that was made to me that it was, we're here into August, where some of the other cities have their audits quite a bit earlier. Is this usually this late?
Usually, like we've had them for a couple of weeks now, but they have been as late as September. So, but generally we don't get them before the end of June.
Okay,
So.
just that there's some people are comparing them to other cities, saying that other cities had it out. Is there any reason why we're getting into June and things like that?
No, it's more or less just the timing with when the auditors can come and do them.
Okay. So that people know. All right. All in favor? Carried unanimously. On to new business. The Weyburn Utility Board Rural Water Connection. There's been a request. Go ahead.
So we've received a request from the Weyburn Utility Board for, they're looking for approval from the City of Weyburn for access to the rural pipeline for the following rural applicant. Aaron Patzer, Northwest 340814, west of the 2nd, parcel D. And that's the information.
I'm prepared to make a motion, Your Worship, that the application for access to rural pipeline for the following rural applicant be approved, subject to the fulfilling the Weyburn Utility Board city residential water hookup requirements. And this is to Aaron Patzer, Northwest 340814, W2 parcel D.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. The next is a development permit application for our nursery school. If you would, please.
Your Worship, a request has been received from Kenda Kittleson to develop a nursery school preschool at 133 14th Street Northeast, which is the Free Methodist Church, legally described as lots 1 to 4 inclusive, Block 9, Plan 62 R39077. This site is zoned as an R2 residential, and therefore a nursery school is considered a discretionary use. A nursery school is a facility which is not subject to the Education Act and receives children who are not of compulsory school age on a regular basis for educational purposes. The proposal is to utilize the existing fellowship hall space on the main floor of the church as per the floor plan attached. The nursery school will operate Tuesday to Friday from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. for children aged 3 and 4. There will be no more than 20 children attending the school at each time, with 2 teachers present. The anticipated start date for the nursery school is September of 2018. As per the zoning bylaw, a nursery school is a discretionary use in the R2 zone. However, it must comply with the minimum requirements as set out in section 5.5 to ensure compatibility with surrounding land uses and to encourage the dispersion of those services throughout the city so that they are available at convenient locations. The minimum requirements for a nursery school are as follows. Indoor play space is required at a rate of 3.25 meters squared per child over 18 months. This would indicate that the proponent is required to have 65 meters squared of indoor play space, to which a total area of 147 is being proposed. No more than 50% of the wall height shall be located below grade. The proposed area is to be used for the nursery school is 100% above grade. Indoor play space shall with window area equivalent to 10% of the floor area. The intended play space is equipped with 4 windows and a large stained glass window which satisfies the minimum requirements. Outdoor play space is required on the same site or adjacent lands. The proponent is proposing to utilize the Tot Lot, which is a public park on adjacent land which provides sufficient space. There is sufficient parking at the south end of the lot, meeting the minimum requirements of section 14 of the zoning bylaw. This proposal meets the minimum standards as required by the zoning bylaw 2003.2099. Further, the existing building is currently undergoing various renovations and as such has been inspected by the Class 3 licensed building official and complies with the minimum NBC requirements for assembly use. As a discretionary use listed in the bylaw, a neighborhood notice was circulated to all property owners within a 75-meter radius of the said property. There have been no comments, concerns, or issues raised by the neighboring property owners. Therefore, staff recommends option 2. which is council approves the development of a nursery school at 133 14th Street Northeast, subject to the following conditions. The facility shall obtain occupancy approval from the fire department prior to operating. The facility shall not care for any children under 30 months of age and have a group of 21 or more children at one time. The facility shall maintain the indoor play space at a rate of 3.25 meters squared per child and have an adult to child ratio of not less than 1 adult per 10 children. Parking areas must be maintained as a dust-free graveled or hard surfaced area. Any area devoted to required landscaping at the site may not be occupied or disturbed due to new development and must obtain a City of Weyburn business license prior to operation.
Motion.
Your Worship, I'd make a motion that the development permit application of Kenda Kittleson to operate a nursery school, preschool at 133 14th Street Northeast, legally described as lots 1 to 4, inclusive of Block 9, Plan 6, 2R389077, zoned as R2 residential, be approved subject to the conditions provided.
Second.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Questions, discussion?
Your Worship, just one question, Jolene. When the advertisement went out to the neighbors, nothing came back again, nobody expressed concern, and everybody was...
Yeah, Amanda said that nothing was received from the city.
Excellent.
Further discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. The next one, inquiries and announcements, just to make sure that people know and understand this so that when our new manager does start, under these inquiries, under our city bylaw that governs how the council is run, it states that under the order of business entitled Inquiries and Announcements, members of the City Council may ask questions of the City Administrator respecting affairs of the City of Weyburn, provided such questions may be answered directly and without research, or submit questions for response by the Probate Department respecting the affairs of the City of Weyburn. Further states inquiries may express an opinion, reason, or explanation and shall be brief and to the point. The City Manager shall promptly prepare or cause the preparation of an answer to all inquiries submitted pursuant to the subsection 1, which information shall be provided to members of the City Council at the next regular meeting of City Council. Members at the discretion may make inquiries during council meetings. So there, at this point in time, there are no inquiries and announcements, but just to make sure that you people do understand, you can make inquiries and announcements of our new city manager when he arrives here without any retribution as such. The next, and we'd hope that you do make questions. Next, notice of motion that I'll hand to our city clerk, if you would, that there's going to be, I'm going to ask for the be put on the next agenda to review our city bylaw number 2013-3291, the bylaw of the City of Weyburn to govern the regulate the proceedings of the Council of the City of Weyburn to basically to provide greater clarity and specifications of proposed procedures regarding in-camera closed-door meetings, add provisions to ensure no resolutions are passed within in-camera meetings outside a duly constituted meeting of council, remove administrative committee provisions, include public forum at a length of 5 minutes per person to council agenda, have Schedule A of the city bylaw 2013-3219 accurately reflect Part 3 of the Local Authority Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And everything is going to be given to you in this package so that you shall be informed and understand what we're going to discuss in our next meeting. This will be submitted to our clerk here for a notice of motion. Anything that you wish in the future, that such as these changes to bylaws, changes to other things, you can submit a notice of motion and provided that you do give a report to council so that we know what we want and how we want to move forward with things.
I believe your notice of motion has to have a resolution stated on it as well, too.
The resolution, the notice of motion is to resolve to, okay, if you go into it, there should be a resolution into there. On there, the resolution here, we get the resolution. I'll attach the Is it which ones that I stated, which ones I want to change? Is that what the resolution wants to be?
If that's the resolution that you want made, if
Yeah.
these are your resolutions, your summary?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
With that, is there any further questions at that point in time? Nothing further. I shall move this meeting adjourned.